I have been looking for years for a solution for filming video on the go in the field. I've tried many different options, and I've liked some of them, but for the last month and a half, I've been enjoying the Removu K1 all-in-one camera stabilizer. This is an electronic gimbal with 3-axis stabilization and an integrated camera. Oh my gosh. You can see all of the specifications at the link in the description below, but in this video I will go over some of the details and my experience with this. The things that stood out to me before I used it, the things that made me actually accept this guy from Removu were 3 things. I like that the camera is integrated. I like that there is a screen on the handle. And I love that this has 3-axis stabilization. Let's start with the camera. I need something that is going to give me quality footage, but that is also easy to pull in and out of my backpack and isn't going to get in the way if I'm carrying it along with one of my DSLRs. Okay, this is integrated into the handle in a sleek and secure way, which makes it easy for me to pull it in and out of like the back pouch of my backpack without it getting caught on anything or me worrying that I'm going to like pull the camera off the handle. Also, I was not disappointed in the quality of the footage. It can film at 4K at 30 frames per second, but it has a whole slew of options. I used it at 1080p at 60 frames per second. I found that my viewers prefer the higher frame rate. But you can even shoot at 1080p at 120 frames per second. You can also shoot time lapses, which I haven't done a lot of either of those with it, but I'm definitely looking forward to playing around with them, and I will share it with you when I do. I really like that I have that option. Next, I said that I like that there is a screen in the handle. That goes along with kind of general ease of use. This screen is big enough that I can see what's going on in my shot, and I can also navigate the menus. You've got lots of like expected options in there, like changing the mode and resolution, but you can also really fine-tune your shot by adjusting things like white balance. Incidentally, this does have Wi-Fi and an app. I downloaded the app, but I didn't honestly have really high expectations because often the apps that like action cameras and gimbals come with, they just aren't all that easy to use, but I was wrong. It connected easily and it worked really well. It's laid out simply and it's easy to navigate. You can do pretty much all the same menu settings adjustments from it. You can switch modes or start or stop recording with it. Honestly, while I like the app, I don't really see myself using it very often because the gimbal screen is clear and I was able to use it with no issues. And then I also mentioned that I love that this has 3-axis stabilization. It is a big help to have that 3rd axis. I ended up still having some movement in my footage, but I wasn't careful at all when I was using it, and really to me that kind of makes the footage look more real, like you are actually, in this case, hiking into the Grand Canyon. With a little bit of practice, I think I could take away some or even most of that movement. Okay, so this definitely exceeded my initial expectations, but there are some other features here that were pleasant surprises that I discovered as I used it. The battery life on this is pretty amazing. Removu says that you can get 4 hours of continuous filming on a single charge, but keep in mind that you need enough storage. This takes a micro SD card. You do need to make sure that it is a UHS-1U3 card. I have found that a lot of action cameras in general have pretty specific SD card requirements, so that wasn't really a surprise to me. I had a 32 gig card in here, and I was able to film for over an hour and a half of continuous video at 1080p at 60 frames per second before the card ran out of space. And I still had some battery life, so I could have just put a new micro SD card in and kept filming. I don't think that I would have gotten several more hours of life though. I only had 1 bar left on the battery chart. When you do finally run out of battery though, this charges with micro USB, which is really nice. That means 1 less charger in my bag, and it means I can charge it with a USB power bank if I'm in the field. I had it on a 13-hour hike, using it on and off all day long, and I could not believe how much battery life I had left at the end of the day without having charged it at all. So, battery life is stellar. Another thing I discovered is that I love how this rear button functions. You double tap to recenter, which means whatever center is. So if you have the thing all wonky, like I have sometimes found that I have ended up, for example, if you've used the joystick here on the front to point the camera up and I'm hiking, so I'm concentrating on like not falling down rather than like holding this handle straight, I can just double tap and it centers the camera so that it's level to the ground and pointed straight forward. That was really helpful in the Grand Canyon. What's more, you can triple tap the button to turn it around. That means that I can be filming the Grand Canyon 1 minute and then flip the camera around and be talking to you all with just 3 button clicks. On a related note, the distortion is minimal when I'm like holding it at arm's length away from me. Make all the jokes you want about selfies, but this is great for filming yourself. Removu also sent me the accessory kit, which I highly recommend. It contains a few things, but the ones that were helpful to me were the battery charging stand. Not necessary by any means, but it's nice to have. The lens cover is awesome. It just slips right over the lens of the camera, so when I'm in dusty conditions, like I was at the Grand Canyon, I'm able to keep the lens as clean as possible when I'm not using it. The kit also comes with a wrist strap, which is nice because sometimes I'm using a DSLR along with the gimbal, so I just like to be able to hang it off my wrist. And the kit contains the biggest surprise of all, a microphone and a dead cat. Now, like, this stuff itself wasn't the surprise, but the audio was. Holy smokes, the audio is really good. Check it out. We're 6.76 miles into this hike. We started at the visitor center, came to South Kaibab Trailhead on the Rim Trail, and then now we're headed down the South Kaibab Trail. And it is so busy today. Like, so many people, but it's a beautiful day. A little warm, actually. So all of this means that I can truly use this as an all-in-one solution for video in the field. I don't need an extra microphone and audio recorder. I don't need to charge a separate camera and stabilizer, and I'm getting quality footage. Oh, and I didn't mention the little bag that it comes in. I like this little zipper pouch. It holds the gimbal, and I've also been slipping the microphone in here with no problems. Okay, so I've told you about all the things that I like about this, right? But there has to be something that I don't like. And there is, sort of. The only thing that I found to be not completely ideal is how you power it on. It has a rocker switch on the side, which is fine, but it's a little bit touchy with how you turn it on. Once you figure out the timing, it's no big deal, but you do have to figure that out. You have to figure out when to release the switch so it doesn't just turn right back off. But Scout's honor, that's the only thing I don't like. I love this. So you can find this along with the kit at the link down below. It is an affiliate link. In case you don't know what that is, it means that if you use the link to purchase this, or anything on Amazon actually, you get the same price, but then Amazon sends me a small percentage of your purchase price. It helps me pay the bills so that I can keep making content like this and go on all the adventures that I plan to bring this guy on. So thank you to those of you that use those links. Now, I want to know what you use for video. Do you use your phone? Do you use a DSLR or mirrorless option? How do you stabilize it? Or do you just get annoyed at the shaky footage? I always cringe when I see some of my old hiking footage where the camera is just bouncing all over the place in my hands. Anyway, let me know what you use down in the comments below. I always like to know what sorts of gear you all are using. So anyway, thanks for watching.